Hey Internet, it's Gunter with MiniMishaps Games, and today we are doing our second chapter of AI-generated chat adventures. So these aren't exactly AI-generated chat adventures. What I have done is I have introduced a character, a villain, in my Dungeons & Dragons games, in the live sessions with real players, and then I am consulting the ChatGPT for decision making with regards to that villain. So this is simply to see how the AI does with broad storytelling concepts and having to use constraints and things that any good storyteller would use. So I am going to be reading my prompts, and then I'll reflect, and then I will read the computer responses, and I will reflect. And we'll do that for this next chapter. Ushitora, who was given this name in the last video in the series, has been growing special magical fruits that allow her to influence the minds of those who eat the fruit. She is growing the fruit on an island that is otherwise uninhabited. The pirate Greenbeard shipwrecked on the island 25 years ago and gave her the idea to test the fruit on other shipwrecked characters. Ushitora recruited the Aquablins to help crash other ships, including the ship carrying the player characters. They found out about the fruit, and Ushitora fled through an underground tunnel and disappeared in the underwater city of Telmessus. She is safe for now, but the players are in hot pursuit. What should her next villainous move be? So, a few things that I have done here to linguistically challenge the AI. I have introduced new terms and names for things that were not introduced prior to the prompt. In the first AI video, I did more explanations built in, but here she has no explanation of Aquablins, she has no explanation of the city of Telmessus, and we're getting to explore some pretty human ideas and imaginative ideas about fruit and consumption and mind control and magic, and also the concept of evil and villainy. And so we're going to be having the AI contend with some of those ideas as well. Also, the concept that this is contained within a game and that the players operate in the real world and their characters operate in the game world is one of the kind of concepts that I'm most excited to see how the AI handles. So here's the AI's response. Ushitora could use her magic fruit to try to take control of the minds of the leaders of Telmessus and use them to rule the city. Alternatively, she might try to create an army of mind-controlled followers to do her bidding and help her establish her own underwater empire. She might also seek out other powerful magical artifacts or allies to help her consolidate her power and defend against the player characters. Finally, she could use her knowledge of the underwater city's secrets to manipulate or sabotage the players as they explore Telmessus, perhaps by setting traps or ambushing them with her minions. Now, I didn't tell the AI this beforehand, but this is exactly what Ushitora did at the session, was that she set traps for the players, she hired assassins to cover up the trap setters, so there were 2 levels of covering her tracks, and then she escaped into the city. So already, the decision of the villain in-game already is one of the options that the AI set up here. So that was pretty impressive to me. Those are all great plans. She opted to try and get the jump on the players by hiring Bonji to try to drown the player characters in a room he could fill with water. Being an ignioid, Bonji doesn't need to breathe, so he would have been safe. She then hired a group of hitmen to rig Bonji's house with magical traps to eliminate him as a loose end. The players escaped Ushitora's trap, captured Bonji, and defeated the other assassins. The fruit takes a long time to work, and Ushitora doesn't have a lot of time. What can she try to throw the players off her trail? So here I am addressing the players, addressing the story, letting the AI know which option that the villain went with. But I'm also setting limits on something that the AI learned several prompts ago, which is the amount of time it takes for the fruit to take hold. To, in a future video, try to test whether the AI can still conceptualize the length of the fruit's usefulness, and see if it can extrapolate that in a future scenario. Here is what the computer said next. Ushitora could attempt to frame someone else for her crimes by leaving clues or evidence that point towards another individual or group. She could also create false leads or misdirections to lead the players on wild goose chases or dead ends. Another option would be to hire or persuade someone to impersonate her, taking the heat off while she plots her next move. Finally, she could attempt to manipulate the players into turning on each other, perhaps by sowing seeds of doubt or mistrust among them, or by turning one player against the others through bribery or blackmail. So this is interesting because it is a house rule that we don't have any PvP, player versus player, attacking, stealing, or even doing checks on one another without the express permission of both players. And so here in a future video, I'll have to create that as another limit. But just the fact that the AI came up with, here are things that villains in role-playing games do, completely unrelated to anything in this chat so far, is the part that impressed me the most. That is something that a villain would do, to do wild goose chases and frame someone else and those kinds of things. And spoiler alert, if any of my players are watching, this decision has already been made, but I'm going to wait to tell you and the AI until after how that plays out at the session this weekend. So I wrote, those are diabolical options in the best way possible. I love those options, and I will let you know how your suggestions play out next Friday. And the AI responded, I'm excited to hear how it goes. Good luck with your game. So I like that this is essentially a case of the AI is able to compile lists of tropes and commonly accessed ideas, and then use what information you have given it to constrain those to ones that are appropriate. So I don't find anything here to be thoughtful or creative in the way that a human still is, or has potential to be. But I do think this is an immensely helpful tool for gathering concepts into lists. And I could conceive of a time that the AI was listing things that I hadn't thought of. It hasn't happened yet, but it's early in the story, and we're still dealing with kind of generic trope ideas of villain and role-playing game and those kinds of concepts. So we haven't really touched on the the human condition and the believability of emotion and some of those things that maybe we'll see. I plan on Ushitora being a recurring long arc villain. So in the storytelling, they will come up more than once. I also wanted to take a minute to mention that using AI has to be within the context of protecting the rights of artists, authors in the case of text, and we'll see in the next chapter what the AI does with that new information. So thanks for watching until the end, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, Internet.